And welcome everyone to closing day of our 2021 Spring Summer Meet. Been a fun 16 days of racing thus far, and tonight number 17, the final one of the season. It was such a great day on the 4th of July. So great to see so many people in the stands. I'm Jason Beem, the track announcer over here on the East Coast. Matt Ditterman doing such an excellent job filling in for me. Really appreciate his time, and hope you guys are enjoying having Matt there in the Pacific Northwest. But an exciting 4th of July, of course, the Firecracker Futurity, an upset winner. Congratulations to Benito Curiel and Maylin Cowgill teaming up with their win, and Luis Gonzalez, of course, in the saddle. Very exciting edition of that race, and looking forward to seeing some of those quarter horses back in the fall. Of course, looking forward to seeing all of you guys back in the fall at Grants Pass Downs. But we have the final card to take care of tonight, and we start the early pick 4. It's an 8-race card for closing night, 5.5 furlongs to kick it off. Non-winners of a race in 2021, or which have never won 3 races. Always important to read the conditions here, and any track you're at for that matter. One horse who is a non-winner of 3, who has won this year, is Noble Girl. Noble Girl was victorious 2 starts back for a non-2 life. Went up in class, set the pace before fading a little bit late, but I feel like that was expected, and gets Jory Scriver on board. Got to figure Jory's going to send this one hard in the early going. A horse who I think wants to be forwardly placed. But there's a couple other speed types in here, and one of them being number 7, At You Lover, who's the favorite. I always love in these 5 or 5.5 races, if you have speed, you want to be inside of the other speed, because if you can get to that first turn, cut the corner, it can just make such a huge difference in your final performance. And the horses like At You Lover, who's stuck on the outside, they can sometimes get caught out a little bit wide. Speaking of At You Lover, who has won this year and has won 3 races, I know you might be thinking, well, why is this horse eligible for the race? Well, in the condition, you'll note at the end it says races at Oregon Fairs or Washington Class C tracks are not considered in the horse's eligibility. And well, this horse broke its maiden at Sundowns in Washington, so that's why At You Lover is still eligible for today's first race. Quarter horses going 350 yards. It's a non-winners of 2 allowance event, and approval given the 3, I think, looks pretty tough in here. Coming out of the CM Boom Shakalaka race, that was the one where CM Boom Shakalaka, as he always tends to do, really, really tough in here. But that field was just so much tougher than what this horse is going to face. You go back last time the horse was at this level, was beaten but was even money and made a nice closing effort to just miss. So I think one with a big chance in here. Also excited to see one Jess Gamer, who broke the maiden and then tried the Derby Trials. Didn't fare that great in the Derby Trials, running split the pack, running 5th of 8. But back to non-winner of 2, I think could make a big improvement for that one. And we should mention number 8, Elbardi Rosie Lee, who at this same level finished second last time out, just beating ahead. The horse that beat her came back to win, and in a pretty good spot. And number 7, Foursome Jess, speaking of class level, was tried the non-winners of 3 last time allowance. Sometimes you got, if you want to get a race in, we only have a handful of quarter horse races every week, and so sometimes you do have to run out of condition to get in there. Third race on the card, it's an allowance for horses that have not won in 2021 or which have never won 4 races. And I was excited to see Eyebrow Pride in here. It's been running against some pretty tough company, including open allowance runners last time, and faring pretty decently. Was 5th last time, beaten only 3/4 length. It's beaten behind Okie Dokie Road 3 straight times, so probably glad to see that one not show up. The 6 First Moon Cats coming out of the CM Boom Shakalaka race. Again, I mentioned, probably the best quarter horse on the grounds, certainly in the conversation. And so, should appreciate a little bit of class relief this time. The number 10, Chumbly, I thought very interesting here. This horse has just been very good so far this meet. A perfect 2 for 2. Has beaten some decent horses. Holly Van Gogh and Jess Ozzie are, decent enough for this level. I think these waters are a little deeper in this particular event. So, price, I think, kind of dictates the decision. With 2 straight wins, the horse might get overbet a little bit, but if it doesn't, if it gets forgot about on the outside, I think a major contender. 4th race on the card starts the mandatory payout jackpot pick 5. They hit the pick 5 on the 4th of July, $77,000. I think big congratulations to whoever had that, but it's still a guaranteed $5,000 pool, and it will go on tonight's card. The number 1, Good Job Jackie, is 3 straight second place finishes at the non-winner of 3 lifetime level, and this one again just kind of looking to break through. This is kind of tricky because it's for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 or 3-year-olds non-winners of 3, and so again, but the smaller tracks not considered and what have you. So is this a class drop from 10,000 non-winner 3? Is it about the same? I think it's about the same. The horse does have, I use Brisnet, does have the highest prime power number, so appears to be in a good spot. And I think being drawn down on the rail helps this one as well. A horse who is pretty good when forwardly placed. Hot August Storm, the chart on this horse in the Revolut Slew is just wrong. Hot August Storm was pressing the pace in the last race, was battling for the ear to lead, dueling into the first turn with Extra Fine Xtina, dueled with that one all the way to inside the quarter pole before starting to fade. Did finish, at the back and beat many, but this horse was not second to, not 8th, 12 behind, not 9, was literally battling up for the lead. So do want to make sure to note that. In fact, the race was similar early on to what the horse has done in all of its career starts, battling for the lead. If this one can get the lead, which Cowlitz to the outside being pretty speedy could make it tough, but Hot August Storm does have inside position on this one, may be able to clear, but again, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that the running line for that last start out was wildly inaccurate, and so we want to make sure to have the correct information out to you guys. So race number 5 kicks off the late pick 4, a non-condition allowance, so some of the best fillies and mares on the grounds. And Hold That Smile, drawn on the rail, kind of coming back into form a little bit. Had that real bad end to 2020 where she kind of just went out of form and ran okay in the seasonal debut, got the win second time out in a non-condition allowance, and then last time was fighting all the way to the top of the stretch before giving way to Miss Important. But draws the rail again, which could be important. Going to certainly try to hold position. Miss Light Night is stepping up in class big time, but this is just a horse who's in good form right now, and I always like to see a horse who's getting better, improving, and trying to go up the class ladder. It's those are the best times to try it, when you're in good form. And of course, Chief's Little Pearl. I mean, the speed in this race is going to be really fascinating because Chief's Little Pearl, of course, so dangerous. The distance, I think, the big question mark. We've seen 2 straight defeats going 5.5, and now they're going to try to go 6. It's not that Chief's Little Pearl can't win going longer. She's won going 6.5 here at Grants Pass Downs, but she was well clear that day. She's going to have to work for the lead today. So I'm really intrigued by the 2, My Light Night here, going up in class, maybe getting the trip in behind some of this speed, because there's a lot of it. 6th race on the card, the Obi Harbor Sprint Series final. Kind of fun to follow along with this one. And all these horses coming out of the same race. And what's so interesting is, Cape's Hot Rocket was dominant last time out. Just crushed that field. Comes back here again. Figures to be a very short price. Dennis Hurley claimed the horse. First time for Dennis Hurley, 8-5 on the morning line. Can Dennis keep the horse's good form coming into this race? I think that's the big question mark for Cape's Hot Rocket. And a new rider as well, James Wooten, on board for the $15,000 pot. Working was a distant second last time out ahead of Crazy Al. So, it certainly looks as though Crazy Al, I think with the inside draw of Cape's Hot Rocket, I think they have to try to go early and outgun Cape's Hot Rocket to the first turn. If they do that, maybe this race becomes wide open. But if Cape's Hot Rocket can hold that form and can get the lead, certainly going to be tough in the feature event. 6.5 furlongs for race 7. We kick off the late daily double, non-winner of 3 races. Number 1, here's the thing, is coming out of a race against My Light Night, dropping down in price a little bit. I just think My Light Night's going in good form, and this was a pretty decent effort. Wishful One also coming out of that race, and I give that race a pretty positive grade just based off of how good My Light Night has kind of gotten so far. Or gotten recently, I should say. Hey Wilma's coming off a start where didn't get a very good break, and this is a horse who wants to be forwardly placed. I have to think they're going to try to get a better start this time and be up on the engine, kind of try to get the jump on a horse like Wishful One, who makes sense from kind of a stocking standpoint, but with the wide draw could be a little bit stuck outside is kind of my worry. We close out the season in the 8th rank, 6.5 furlongs, non-winners of 3 life, $5,000 race again. Sir Laugh-A-Lot back in here. This horse had they've kind of tinkered a little bit, right? One going 5 furlongs, they shortened up to 600, and then last time lengthened out to 5.5 and ran okay. Live a Good Life beat the horse that day, and Live a Good Life, coming off the claim, it was a pretty good effort first time for the new barn. So I think makes a fair bit of sense here. Like I said, with this race being 6.5 furlongs, it's limited to 8. There is an also eligible, so it should have a full field. I thought a little bit of an interesting horse was the number 1, where did it go? Number 2, sorry, Preaching at Dinner, who just seemed to kind of wake up a little bit the last couple of starts. This horse ran a mile and a 16th. In fact, I think it was the first race of the meet. Didn't fire at all, but really has come back with two pretty okay efforts. We'll have to come back on 7th Wave, who beat it last time. But, you know, in 7th Wave, I think is probably going to be one of the favorites. I think the 6-1 morning line might be a little bit high, but, you know, just because the horse didn't really fire last time out, I think maybe that's part of the reason. But that effort 2 back is, I thought, a little bit of a standout race for this particular race. This was a tricky one. I thought you could make a case for a lot of horses, and I think it's going to be a spread race for a lot of people into late pick 4 and pick 5. So just a quick look at some of the races coming up this weekend, or Tuesday night for Grants Pass closing day. We wish everybody the best with closing night, and we don't forget, all throughout the summer you can keep up with us at gpdowns.com and our social media channels, and we can't wait to see you guys back in the fall for the fall meet. But everybody be safe out there. Good luck. We'll see you soon.